What's up, everybody? At the time that I'm recording this, it's International Dog Day, I guess, so I decided to come down to the local dog shelter and interview some dogs. So normally when I introduce the people who are going to be on the podcast each episode, I take out a sound bite of them talking, and I use that so you don't know which voice is which. And today I thought I'd let the dogs speak for them. I thought that would be a great idea for podcasting and radio, so here we go. On this episode, we have Chris Riley. Everybody, quiet down, quiet down. Shh. On this episode, we have Chris Riley. You're gonna have to stop. Put the toy down. No, put it down. Okay, we have Chris Riley. Wesley Sullivan. Alex Insdorf. And as always, I'm Brad Bradford. This is one of the laziest, lamest intros I've ever done. I was feeling uninspired. Anyway, now we're going to drop you without context into the Lost Context Podcast. I've never been to Hooters before.
I've also never
I haven't
been to
either.
Hooters.
Neither have I.
Okay, we are all technically millennials. Why have you guys never been to Hooters? I've never been there because it's for dirty old men, and I don't have one in my area.
Same.
You don't have a dirty old man in your area?
Take me to Hooters.
Brian, if you don't have a dirty old man in your area, that means you're the dirty old man.
Ouch.
Doesn't seem logical.
Well, not everything has to be logical, Mr. Fucking I'm so
Super.
smart.
I mean, Brian is somewhat dirty-minded, but, I mean, how old are you? Like, 30-something?
76.
32.
Oh.
Oh, I'm older than you, Brian?
Yep.
Oh, man. See what a little hair on the top of your head does? Keeps you looking young.
Holy shit.
Technically, I'm not a millennial. I'm technically Gen Z or whatever. Is the next thing.
It depends on whose definition you're going by.
I think I use the Pew Research Center. Says after anyone after 97 or something like that is considered Gen Z.
Okay,
I can get behind that.
So Alex posted an article in the chat that says, hold on, I gotta get the Hooters is shutting down locations, re-strategizing.
How was that so hard for you?
One beer. I've had one beer. Re-strategizing after recent study says millennials.
Did that article have a
in.
picture and you're just ogling the Hooters girl on the picture?
Can I at least finish the headline?
No.
Probably not.
Really, it's a long headline. Hooters is shutting down locations, re-strategizing after recent study says millennials aren't that into boobs. Now, I actually remember this being posted in the group before, and it says August 17th, 2017, so this is kind of an old article, but we don't have time on the Lost Context podcast, so we do what we want.
Here's the weird thing about Twitter, is that Twitter constantly brings up old shit and posts it like it's new shit, so I thought this was a new article. But
It's kind of the internet in general. Things happen to go in cycles.
Yeah, it's weird. I also...
Can I address my concern with this?
Yes.
Okay, well, the article says Pornhub visitors between the ages of 18 to 24 are 19% less likely to search for breasts when compared to all other age groups. But visitors age 55 to 64 are 17% more likely to search. Now, this is not something that particularly concerns me individually, but I mean, if you're out there looking for something, why would you be looking for ass? That is my concern, and you're gonna clip that out for sure.
Well, aren't we all just going around looking for ass? I mean, like...
I don't know. I kind of wanted to clip out the part where you asked if black people have big teeth.
Well, I need to know. Do black people usually have big teeth?
I mean, I guess it's the most not racist thing to not already have an opinion formulated on that.
Once I know the facts, then we can get into the racist territory.
The racist territory that we now know as Utah.
Yes.
It became a state in like 1800 or something like that.
Oh,
Chris, why haven't you ever been to Hooters?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Never wanted to go. I mean, there's
You've never wanted to go?
Well, here's the thing. Like, you can get at least just as good food at an actual strip club, where you're not just seeing the rejects from the strip clubs, and then look at every 80s cop movie. You got to have at least one scene where they're eating chicken wings in a strip club while they're doing their, cop business or whatever. And then there's also just better of those kind of just kitschy sort of restaurants or whatever. TGA Fridays is way better. I assume. Obviously, I haven't been to Hooters, but you don't see Facebook just jammed with people like, oh, I just ate at Hooters today. It was so fucking good.
I think it's been replaced by a lot of stuff like Buffalo Wild Wings and like all those places that have kind of like taken over the chicken wing market. And so Hooters is just like, yeah, well, our food might be shit, but we still have boobs, and it seems that the interest in boobs among paying customers that are relevant to the demographic has gone down.
So here's my take on it. Let me pull up a Hooters waitress real quick.
Oh my! No shame whatsoever from Brian. He's just going right for it.
He did plenty of research on this topic before starting the show.
Brian, are you just Google imaging Hooters waitress?
I super did.
Oh my god. I'm gonna do it too, but only for research purposes.
Here's the thing I'm thinking, is that every time I've ever seen a Hooters waitress, I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. And it's not because I don't like boobs, it's just that it's kind of just a lame outfit. I don't know. Like, if I'm going to go to a restaurant specifically to be turned on, which I'm not, but if I was, hypothetically, I think I'd go with kind of more along the lines of what Riley said. Not that I'd necessarily want to go to a strip club, but, somewhere it actually appeals to me at least.
Yeah, like I feel like there's not much appeal anymore to just cleavage.
Right. Unless they're just a tank top that is kind of tight, and then they've got these booty shorts, and it almost looks. It reminds me a little bit of some sort of track uniform in a way.
Also, my idea is, what if there's another business that opens up, or Hooters could start another restaurant, or the people behind Hooters could start another restaurant where instead of boobs, it's asses, because it seems that the millennials are now into asses instead of boobs. So now...
And that's why I'm worried about this generation. That reason exactly.
Wesley, what's your problem with ass?
It's just
you seem to have some
ass.
You seem to have something stuck up your ass about asses, all right?
There's nothing appealing about an ass. Legs, breasts, that's where it's at.
Can you put into words? Can you explain what about legs and breasts are attractive?
Bro, you could say the same thing about boobs that you're saying about ass, because
right. That's what I'm wondering.
Boobs are just like sacks of fat. Same with ass. Like
what is it about breasts that makes them attractive, but not the ass?
I don't know. I mean, they're much closer to the face. If you're in contact with the woman, I mean, it's more in the general vicinity of where you're looking rather than down at her ass, which is behind her.
That does not explain legs.
Okay, but
The legs go all the way up.
oh my hell.
And then the legs become attractive when you put them closer to the face.
I'd like to state on the record that my last 2 Google searches were, do black people have big teeth? And also a Google image search for Hooters waitress, because Brian was.
So the real question here now that we've made the mental connection between the two, do Hooters waitresses have big teeth? I'm 95% sure that they do.
You know what, Chris? That sounds like a Google search.
That one I will Google.
Okay, I'm telling you right now. I'm looking at a picture of 3 Hooters waitresses, and the one with the biggest teeth is the black one.
God damn it, Brian.
How dark is she?
No, that's even worse.
Medium well.
And can you medium well? Can you see her palms?
I'll give you one thing, though. I think 2 big teeth is more attractive than teeth that are too small.
Oh, I thought you meant 2 big teeth, like the front ones or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Like a
you know,
beaver.
oh, dude. Judy Hopps and Zootopia. God damn it, dude.
We're entering furry territory now, and I'm very uncomfortable. I think, though, Riley's assessment of medium to large teeth are better than small teeth, because, like, small teeth at a certain point just makes you look like a fucking baby. Cause it
Like
just,
fucking Gollum or something like that.
Yeah.
Alex, do you feel like you identify well with your generation?
Hold on a second. Would Gollum want to go to Hooters? I totally think he would. Take me to the Hooters.
I'm trying to understand how those two fit together. What the hell?
He would ask for
Yes,
his fish
do you-
rare.
You guys think Bernie Sanders would want to go to Hooters?
What would that sound like, Alex?
The top 1% of the 1% of the Hooters waitresses, I'm telling you, they got big knockers.
We need to redistribute those knockers to my face.
I'm telling you. See, okay, here's the thing about the Bernie impression, is that the Bernie impression and the Obama impression I do, which is worse than the Bernie one I do, they go together sometimes, and so sometimes it just sounds like a mishmash of the two.
Yeah, but have you heard my Kermit impression? That beats
Please-
all
Oh,
of
that
them.
was so bad.
Please do your Kermit impression, Wesley. I'd love to hear it.
Good lord.
Oh, just give me a second. Kermit the Frog here.
It sounds more like Ludo from the Labyrinth.
It sounds
I haven't
it
seen
sounds
that
like the fucking
Smell
what is it?
bad.
So my mother just walked into my room. I didn't hear her coming because I had my headphones in and the dogs didn't bark this time. I am so glad that I had pictures of Judy Hopps up on my screen instead of Hooters.
So, Brian, you were asking me about my generation or something?
Do you identify with your Gen Z generation?
Yeah, I would say for the most part I do.
Because you come across kind of like a 30-year-old sometimes. I don't really notice much difference between our ages, to be honest.
Well, does that mean I'm more mature or that you're less mature? Or somewhere in the middle?
We definitely meet in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's that, like, all of my high school and college friends are like, Gen Z, pretty much, and then I also hang out with people that are in CLC, or fucking my whole family.
I mean, you went to a baseball game with Dennis, who's 40.
I went to a basketball game with Dennis, okay?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted someone to go to a basketball game with me, and also Dennis's brother-in-law or something had like season tickets. So
So for the folks at home that don't know the backstory behind this, Dennis didn't bring his own son to the basketball game. He brought his internet stranger son. And
okay.
Disappointed his kid, made him cry, said, sorry, not taking you with me today. Gonna go see the basketball game without you.
I paid for my ticket, though, okay? I paid $80 to my ticket to go see the game. So you know what? Dennis's kid, Ethan, listen, he's a good kid, smart kid, but I mean, I paid my way in, so Dennis didn't, bring me to the game. Like,
did he buy you a baseball cap and put it on backwards?
No, I bought an overpriced T-shirt. But I don't know. I guess I can sort of be with both Gen Z and millennials. I just can't be with boomers.
I thought you were going to say you could be with both genders.
So you can, I assume you could be with them, but I mean, like, in terms of people saying, this is how the Gen Z generation is, this is how they think, do you usually fit into those things, or are you usually like, not me, man?
Well, no, because I think most of those things are fucking retarded. Like, it just, the whole thing is like, just like, it's always the previous generation, whether it be like boomers shitting on millennials or millennials shitting on Gen Zers. It's just like, well, this generation is worse because they do things differently than I did. And it's just like, okay, man, like, and then there's also like, I feel like millennials are somewhat jealous that this is the first generation that grew up with technology. And so I feel that there's a bit of jealousy there.
I agree that it's bullshit, but a lot of times, even if it is bullshit, a lot of the statistics and things that they cite that most millennials are this way, I actually don't find that I'm that way. I'm very, very far removed from what they cite as the common millennial.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, though, is that like boomers do this thing with millennials where, because they do things differently, we have to cite that, and that makes it worse. And then also, that's the same thing to a degree that I guess some older millennials or boomers have also done with people that are in Gen Z.
It's an interesting way that I have to hold this microphone. It's like I'm about to eat a piece of buttered toast.
So I looked up, do Hooters waitresses have big teeth? And I'll be honest, I haven't found anything that's terribly informative so far.
That's disappointing. They need to see, they're already pouring money into research about how to, rebrand. They should look into that.
Brian,
we gotta get into that teeth market. The boobs aren't just doing it for us anymore. We gotta get into teeth.
Ryan, I want you to go to a big university. Like, I want you to go to Rutgers or Ohio State or Harvard or, like, any of those schools. And I want you to, like, pitch the research team there and be like, guys, I need you to go to all the Hooters in America. And I need you to tell me, is there a correlation between Hooters waitresses and having big teeth as opposed to the standard population? I think this is something that you should really take charge of and research.
I don't think I've heard you say anything positive about Ohio. I don't know if I want to go to Rutgers.
Rutgers is cool. Ohio's dumb, and because Ohio is like in the middle of nowhere and it sucks.
So a recent thing that happened, which is not going to be recent by the time that this airs, is that now this is I think this is bullshit too, but the latest alleged controversy for SJWs is that the Doom 2 trailer made an offensive reference to SJWs by comparing what do you call when people come to your country? Immigrants. Like comparing immigrants.
Oh my god. How did you forget the term immigrants? Like, it's everyone knows the term.
I've had one beer.
Well, he just couldn't find any of the non-offensive things to call them.
I'm happy. I'm very happy you held off on wetbacks, Brian. I'm happy you held off on that at least.
My mind was running through a list of terms like wetbacks, dot heads, wagon burners. I don't know.
Wait, who are the wagon burners?
The engines.
They aren't immigrants. We're the ones who stole their land.
They would be if they went to some other country. Tried to go to Canada, they'd be immigrants. Burners. So the immigrants were apparently compared to demons. And the trailer says, it's got this quote about how, now remember, there's lady speaking over a loudspeaker, and she's like, remember, demon is an offensive term, and they prefer mortally challenged.
So surprised they didn't go with like a Trump thing, like Mars isn't sending its best. We've got to go over there and get rid of the demons.
They were saying that it sparked controversy. I think that means 2 or 3 people on Twitter complained about it.
They grasp for strings like that. Right?
Well, as long as you can, if you can get 3 or 4 quotes from people on Twitter, that looks like a nice, filler for your article for like citing, people.
They're still making Doom games? I haven't. I don't think I've played a Doom since the original. I didn't know they were still making.
The original came out before you were born.
Well, no, but I mean, I played that one when I had the proper video game systems for it. But I didn't know they were making like modern ones.
I found this old metal box in my attic, and I dusted it off and plugged it in.
Listen, man. I had an N64. Like, let's not pretend that like my first video game system was the fucking Nintendo DS. Like, I had some I had some shit growing up. All right, maybe I didn't start with the Super Nintendo fucking and the Sonic machine like y'all did, but I started pretty early.
Well, you see, Doom started out as a PC game.
Well, okay, but
where you're rocking that, where all the PCs were the same color. It was back when they were all beige. Just, I guess they couldn't figure out how to make a computer any other color. And
I
this
think
would be back when,
like a Model T.
Yeah, yeah, and like it would probably have like a 286 motherboard in that thing, like high technology, floppy disk, fucking 28.8 modem, dial up. Yeah, it's got to make a bunch of beeping and screeching noises at you just to connect to the internet. Tie up your phone line for the whole house while it's playing.
Oh, those were the days.
Oh, yeah,
the one thing.
Continue, Alex. I'm sorry.
No, you can go, Wesley.
Oh, did I tell you guys that when I was renovating my house, I found a Windows 95. It was an IBM desktop with Windows 95 on it, and my dad had saved it. He said, "Oh well, I can sell it on eBay and get something for it." But that computer was as old as I am, and it was ridiculous. It had a tower and a huge monitor that it needed to run on.
A monitor like Brian uses to this day.
Yes. I'm 23, so I don't even remember my father ever using it. But Chris and Brian, did you ever use computers like that? Or
yeah,
fuck yeah.
We were talking about this recently the other day. My dad started getting computers in 1982, which was 4 years before I was born. So I've never really, there's never been a time in my life where I didn't have a computer in the house or several computers.
So that was even back in the time where like furniture companies were making computers. Like it was just insane. Like like there'd be a Yamaha computer and fucking shit like that. Like it was the Wild West of the computer days back then.
I think my first computer was Windows XP. Something like that. I think that was my first one.
Well, it's a good way to kick it off anyway, I guess.
Yeah. And then...
It's all been downhill from there.
Well, I mean, I used Windows XP for a long time. Probably longer than I should have. And then...
Everybody did.
Yeah, because Windows Vista was fucking garbage. Then, what was it? Windows 7 came out, and that was pretty cool. And so then I started using that and just getting the updates from Microsoft like a normal person. But, so I guess I'm on Windows 10 now.
Which I am not a fan of. Windows tends to skip they do a good one, a bad one, a good one, a bad one, a good one, and that's not a perfect rule, but it's kind of how they've been going.
I feel like Windows 10 is kind of the same thing as Windows 7 to me. I mean, there's a couple differences, but for me, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know.
It pisses me off, dude. The fact that you can't turn off auto updates, and I've had times when I wake up in the morning and come into my office and my computer's just like stalled and I can't get it to boot up, and it's because it installed an update during the night and it screwed it up, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I have tried to find so many workarounds to shut all the updates off, but you can only get so far. They still send critical ones through, and it just pisses me off. I've had times where it interrupts, and I'm like, did I even save? Like, did you even save my stuff before you decided to reboot my computer? It feels very invasive to me. So that's my rant about Windows 10. Anyway, I like boobs.
Yeah, same here. Not going to fight you on that one.
I'm more of an ass man myself.
Asses are good too. I'm more of a big picture guy, like I like all of it on a, pretty lady.
Tara has been hosting these model competitions where she'll post a picture of a model in the group, and then everybody has to take a picture of themselves posing like the model. And I have sucked the joy out of them by taking it way too far and way too seriously, and trying to make an exact replica of the model, but with me. And so the last one she posted was Britney Spears in this she was pulling her panties down, and she had this shirt that was barely buttoned and all open and stuff. And I just thought to myself, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Did you do it?
I haven't yet. I don't know if she's going to close it tonight or if I'll even have time, because her recent deadlines have been pretty quick, but I might give it a go. I want to try, as long as it has to stay funny, because if I keep, mimicking the image perfectly, I feel like it's just sucking the humor out of it and taking the joke too far. So if I do this one, I'm going to try and see if I can inject more humor into it. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. Otherwise, it just comes across like I'm a fucking cross-dressing perv.
Do you have a blonde wig?
I don't.
You don't? Well, then I don't think you can do it.
Well, you could dye your wig blonde.
Holy shit. That's some dedication.
Right after he just said he doesn't want to get as involved in it as the last time. He's busting out fucking chemicals and shit. It's like going Breaking Bad on a fucking
I just imagine
wig.
Brian was just talking about how his mom walked in his room as he was looking at the fucking the Lola Bunny ripoff from the Zootopia movie, and so I would just imagine as Brian is going through this intricate 2-hour process of dyeing the wig, that his mom just walks in and just sees what he's doing.
I had to get this topic out of the way while Tim was not on the show. He would have some things to go off on me about that.
Why would he go off on you?
Yeah, just on the topic of cross-dressing and allegedly saying it's for the joke.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary genders, we're going to take a moment to cut to a commercial break, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Hey there, it's Cliff again from Old Canada, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada's premier adult novelty store. Let me first say thanks to all our American customers for making last month's online promotion so successful. In fact, your president might say, it was huge! But I must admit, we didn't make everyone happy. And if there's one thing we value at Old Canada, more than sexual satisfaction, it's customer satisfaction. Last week, we got a call from a customer in the U.S. province of New Jersey. We'll call him Alex I to protect his confidentiality. Anyways, Mr. Insdorf informed us that we didn't carry the item that he was looking for, and we asked him for a detailed description of the item so that our professional staff could find it for him. Moments later, he sent us this message.
Sexy lace thongs, sissy pouch panties, cross-dress underwear, men, gay, size 28 to 32 in the waist. The item is classified as new or other, handmade, small, thong, bikinis.
Well, it took some searching, but we found it. So customer AI from NJ, to show you how much we value your business and to thank you for allowing us to use your recording, we'll ship you the item free of charge. The sissy pouch will be on us, so it can be on you. And to everyone else that has made our store so successful, we'll throw in some Viagra with your next purchase so you can keep it up. See you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of a show called Balls in Your Face, where me and Tim Demuse put our balls directly into your face? Well, have I got a podcast for you.
It sounds really gay.
Alright, Wesley, Mr. fucking thinks the podcast is gay. Okay, well, Wesley, if you're so afraid of the gays, I got a perfect show for you called Balls in Your Face with Tim and Alex, where we talk about the latest things happening in sports, such as football, or basketball, or hockey, or really fucking, like, anything. I don't know, we might talk about our dicks one week and how they're shaped. Really anything can happen on this podcast. So you can subscribe to that as well as The Jew and the Shrew. Have fun.
All I have to say about sports is Malone was the greatest. Now, next topic.
Post Malone?
Oh my god. How dare you?
And apparently we're back. We need to redistribute Tim and I'm not gonna do that joke.
Man, that failed big time.
Oof, that was painful.
All right, we're back. We're back from commercials. We'll just go with that one.
Speaking of Post Malone,
I want to try again.
No, you don't get to try again. You fucking flopped.
What about Post Malone?
Oh, I was reading a thing that just about music in general, that Michael Jackson's Thriller, which was the best-selling album, has been passed by the Eagles' Greatest Hits album, which I feel shouldn't count, because Greatest Hits albums being the number one album is kind of cheating, because you're throwing a bunch of songs on there that, like, weren't originally together, like, so I feel like that's kind of cheating over putting that over, like, an original piece of work.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but it doesn't work. Like, Michael Jackson's Greatest Hits isn't, like, overselling Thriller.
Well, that's also complicated, because it's like, Michael Jackson's Greatest Hits probably came out a lot later, and then Thriller's been out for, like, fucking 20 or 30 years, so it's, like, closer to 30. I actually don't know when it came out. Sometime in the 80s. But, I don't know. I just feel like putting in the greatest hits with songs that, like, weren't originally together, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way.
I heard that James Brown's daughter put together an album full of his greatest hits. Heyo! I don't know. I tried.
I don't even get what you were going for there.
Were you going for a Chris Brown joke?
I don't know.
Or maybe like Ike Turner?
I couldn't remember an artist who had done domestic abuse, and I tried to think about...
I don't think James Brown has ever been accused of domestic abuse.
Like, holy shit.
No, that's Chris Brown.
Yeah. James Brown is like a fucking, like, from the 80s.
A saint. Yeah.
I just punched
Amazing.
it in. It says James Brown's daughter details domestic abuse.
Oh, they all look the same to you, Brian. You're racist.
James Brown chooses against trial. Takes criminal. Wait, maybe he wasn't the one accused. I don't know.
Who was the one that hit his girlfriend in the elevator?
Oh, that was Ray Rice. He was a football player.
Oh, okay. I confuse football players and rappers a lot.
There was also an incident in which Beyonce's sister punched Jay-Z in an elevator.
I'm so bad at celebrity. I'm so bad at jokes in general.
Did Jay-Z just ragdoll to the floor at that point?
I think he actually took like 2 pretty good hits. Like there's a video of it somewhere of this fucking elevator fight, and then like apparently they're just all cool now. But like that was a pretty big incident.
This is a great segue into what I wanted to bring to the show today. And I think
Wesley,
before
you go, I'm very concerned about how you're going to segue from public beatings that have happened in elevators to whatever your next topic is. So please try to do it seamlessly.
It's a good one.
Okay, Wesley.
Okay. So, Brian, we're going to clip this out and call that Wesley's favorite things.
Are we doing a segment? Hold on, are we doing a segment?
You bet your ass we are.
Holy shit.
Is this one gonna get us taken off another streaming service?
Wait, you guys got taken off a streaming service?
We already talked about this last episode.
Well, refresh me.
We
real
got a
quick.
strike on YouTube the last time Wesley had a segment.
Well, I mean, YouTube is that's just pissy.
And
You're
now-
calling people pissy now?
Well, but I mean, YouTube is like so fucking like strict with what they like let people put up now that it's just not like. I mean, I love going there to like watch stuff, but I feel like it's not even worth putting stuff up on, especially if you're doing a podcast and have like tons of other places to put it.
And now it's time for Wesley's favorite things.
Okay, so when I'm not inseminating cows or feeding cows or trying to grow crops, I sit on Facebook and I find a black person's profile and then I look through their friends list and I try and find the most wild name possible. And I go through hundreds and hundreds of African Americans, and I just experience the greatest feeling of joy of seeing the Desandras and the LaQuishas and, the Jermaines.
What is with you
And
Mormons
they
and
just-
having binders full of minorities?
All right, question: how did any of that relate to what we were talking about, which was
We were talking
public
about black
elevator
people.
beatings? No, we weren't
We were
talking about black
talking-
people. You made it about black people. We were
Jay-Z and Chris.
We were talking about public elevator beatings that have happened, and then you decided to make it about black people, you fucking Klansman.
I don't. I'll have you know my sheets are gray, not white.
This episode of the Lost Context Podcast is brought to you by black people who beat their wives. When you think of black people, think of domestic abuse, and also the Lost Context Podcast.
Okay, wait, also, Jay-Z didn't even beat anyone in the elevator. He was the one who got beat in the elevator. So,
Yeah, but Rihanna's sister-in-law was black. Or
Rihanna's
Beyonce?
sister-in-law? Do you mean Beyonce's sister-in-law?
God damn it. This just keeps on getting worse and worse.
Bro, you couldn't tell Beyonce from Rihanna if your fucking life depended on it. If one of your cows came up to you, if one of your cows came up to you and was about to run you over, and if you couldn't tell the difference between Beyonce and Rihanna, that cow would stampede over you.
I need a couple cows to take me down, okay? I can
Alright,
move
well,
out of the way of one.
All right, so it's Cardi B's sister-in-law, and
Wesley,
And Drake.
Wesley, do you know who Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are?
Nicki Minaj is the one that shows her ass all the time, and she's ugly as sin. And Cardi B, I don't know. They were calling her transphobic when she's actually really progressive, or something. I didn't quite follow that.
I've never heard that, but
well, this segment started off well.
and that is the end of Wesley's favorite things.
Oh man.
Shout out to our black listeners.
Who?
Who do you think are our black listeners? How many black people do you think listen to this podcast?
Zero.
Maybe half of Tony once, and the housekeeper at a CLC members hotel. I don't know. Someone's had to have heard it, right?
Definitely not Devante.
Devontae maybe listened once. He listened to my debate podcast I put up this week.
That's because Tara was on it, and he loves everything Tara does.
Which one's Devante?
Oh, Jesus.
So Devontae is Jay-Z's brother.
Well, funny thing about Devontae, like, I had interacted with him, several times in the group over the course of probably about a year. And, like, only very, very recently I found out he was black because he doesn't even use, like, an actual profile picture. He's got a goddamn picture of a cartoon fox. And I don't know why I thought he was, like, of some sort of Spanish descent or something. But nope.
If you look at his Instagram, has a real picture of him, and he's got these big old dreadlocks. I thought that Rodney Combs was a black guy because his picture is a cat with a wrench working on a car. But he's white.
Why would that infer that he's black?
Shout out to Rodney. He's my favorite.
Nothing inferred that he's black. I just thought that he was. And then somebody else in the group thought that he was too. So I'm not alone.
All right, Brian.
Speaking of Bernie Sanders.
This episode just went in a weird direction, didn't it?
As if the past ones haven't been weird.
Folks, listen, Brian is just a big racist. We fucking know this shit, alright?
Wait, which one is this? Is this Obama?
No, this is Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
Wait, let me hear you, Obama.
Give me a minute. This is gonna be really bad.
Hold on.
You put me under pressure now.
Hold on, he's gotta get out his black face.
Make sure the lips are red.
Okay, I'm struggling to get my mind together in a mindset to do Obama because I'm still in Bernie mode. So,
Obama Sanders.
Well, folks, you'll have to excuse me. I'm in Bernie mode.
I just want to picture you like a transformer, like.
My fellow Americans, let me be clear. This fucking Wesley guy, he couldn't tell the difference between Beyonce and Rihanna, who are two of the most influential artists of our times. My fellow Americans, that's just simply inexcusable.
I want to hear Obama talk about the top 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
I don't know if I can actually do that because then the 1% and the other stuff Bernie says is my cue to go into Bernie. So I have to think about if I can actually say it as Obama. My fellow Americans, the top 1% of the 1%, they're stealing the wealth from the poor, and that's a big issue in our country. And Governor Romney won't tackle this issue at all.
It definitely does not have the same charm to it, does it? There's something about Sanders saying the 1%.
No, yeah, that's the
Jew
thing.
magic.
That's the thing. Like
Definitely
Obama has the whole my fellow Americans and that line, and then Bernie Sanders has the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. So he like that. Those are the cues to go into those characters.
Yeah, there's something about that mumbly marble mouth 1% that just works. It's lost on Obama.
Well, I will tell one of
This
you,
reminds-
all of you, that when I got my dandruff shampoo the other day, I looked on the ingredients, and 1% of it was selenium. We can't stand for this. We have to get rid of it.
Speaking of impressions, next week we're gonna debut my Christopher Walken impression.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, why wait?
Wesley,
Please do it right now.
Wesley, I think after hearing your Kermit impression, you might want to reconsider this Walken impression.
I actually want
Alex.
to know what is stopping us from hearing it right now. Are you talking for a commercial?
I need to plan the script.
Are you trying to save it for your wedding night kind of a deal? Like you know, like
Didn't they already get married?
this is the walk-in moment
Yes.
on the podcast.
I need to space this out. You know, I already gave the people the laughs that they craved for this episode. Next one, there'll be more.
Well,
If you subscribe to the Patreon at the $10 or above tier, you can hear Wesley's Christopher Walken impression 2 weeks early. So,
as sad as it is, that might be the most motivating thing we've ever had on our Patreon page.
I will narrate your GPS in Christopher Walken's voice.
Christopher Walken here. You want to turn right on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Christopher Walken here, and I'm talking here. That was bad. That was awful.
You're from
It
the
was very
East
bad.
Coast, and you totally butchered that. If anyone could say it, it should be you.
No. I was trying to do Christopher Walken saying I'm walking. Because I can do, hey, I'm walking over here. But, like, you know, I was trying to do Christopher Walken saying that, and it just didn't come to fruition.
And I'm 100% leaving it in.
Well, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, this show is supposed to be bad.
In terms of Bernie Sanders complaining about rich people, I was at my brother-in-law and sister's house, and they lost a child, which is a total downer. But they have this. Somebody gave them a binary star deed that they named a star after the kid, and I'm not trying to negate the kindness of such a gesture, but it's peculiar to me, this whole concept of, you know, letting people name stars and charging a fee to name a star. Like, I know that they keep track of them and they log where it is in the sky and they can point it out to you and stuff. So it's not, but I was just thinking, can I start a business where I, you know, name rocks? Like, you can have a rock on Mars.
That sounds like something that fucking Saul Goodman would do on fucking Better Call Saul.
Okay, my question is, did you say a binary star? I know nothing about astronomy, but are you saying that they also have trans stars?
I don't even know how to make a joke out of that because I know nothing about astronomy either.
I don't know, but I tried. Just give me a little bit of credit.
Tim would have run with it.
Definitely.
I only know about astrology because my fucking ex is obsessed with that shit. Like, every goddamn day.
Astrology is surprising to me because it's surprising to me that it's so mainstream and there's so many people that pay attention to it. And they say, and most of the ones that I've talked to, they're like, "Oh, I don't actually believe in it," and then they start citing, you know, like they clearly do. It's weird to me.
What I find is funny is that most of the people that believe in it are like total atheists. Like they'll put stock into star magic, but Abrahamic faiths are too much. Okay, Felicia.
What happens? Nobody ever talks about if the astrology is wrong. Like, you were born in July as a Cancer, but actually you have a completely different temperament. But does that mean astrology is wrong? Nope.
Well, I mean, NASA debunked astrology.
All the descriptions are just so vague. Anybody can apply to any sort of sign.
That's kind of the whole point of being like, oh, well, if you're, like, yeah, because they're just general personality traits that, like, can kind of be interpreted anyway. They aren't, like, super specific.
Chris, can we talk about cards, or should we not?
No, you can.
What about Val?
Yeah? The tarot stuff?
Yeah.
It's definitely not my cup of thing. Cup of tea. Cup of thing.
What about cards?
Oh, my wife does tarot.
Mm.
Yep, and other people pay her to read those cards.
Does she make bank off of that, or is it just a little side thing?
I mean, it's still kind of a side thing because she's like homeschooling our kid and stuff. So, but just some people put a lot of stake in it. I'm
Yeah,
not one of those people, but whatever. If you're out there and you would like to pay my wife to read some cards to you, I am 100% behind you.
Well, one of the things is I haven't watched a lot of tarot, but one of the ones I recently watched, which was very silly, is that somebody, maybe GameSpot, I don't remember who it was, but they took their they went to a card reader and they asked for some E3 predictions. And you talk about vagueness, it's very much there. They lay down the card and then they talk about what the card means, and you kind of have to apply that meaning to a situation in some way, like, oh, there's going to be a disaster. Well, what could the disaster be? And then you start speculating, and then if a disaster happens in any way, shape, or form, you're like, the card was right.
Yeah, see, that's like most of what it is that, the cards, all they do is just give you these vagaries, and then your brain, like, makes everything fit, and will, just find whatever it can to, pop the puzzle pieces into place.
Yeah.
But I at least give tarot slightly more credit than astrology, because it's, it is adaptable in that way, where just astrology is just nothing. It is absolutely just gobbledygook. And I mean, like, because if you think about it, the stars, we see them as constellations, but anywhere else in the universe, like, they aren't even close to each other. It's just that from our perspective, they look like they're in a line or whatever. And then also, people will talk about, yeah, but if, like, the moon and the sun can be in a certain place, the gravity can do all this. And it's like, well, I mean, the gravity comes mostly from our planet that we feel, and then a very little bit from the moon, and then even smaller, bit from the sun and everything. And, like, there's more G-forces on you just from, like, walking around, going up the stairs, going through an elevator, like, driving around in your car, than you feel from any of that stuff. And so how in the world are you supposed to gather some, like, innate knowledge about your being from, like, the weakest, most insignificant point of, gravitational influence from these things?
Not a lot of people are aware about this, but if you rotate Orion 90 degrees, he looks like a penis. If you rotate him on his y-axis and look at him from, the side. I never actually thought about that before. It
sounds like you have.
I just
it's becoming very suspect right now. I just have to tell you.
Do you think that aliens look at us and we're just a part of one of their constellations?
I mean, I doubt that they still think in the way of constellations.
I doubt that aliens give a shit about us if they know we're real, because I think they found that we're so fucking retarded that it's just not worth keeping tabs on.
Well, they're gonna start.
Except for the one that found our show last week.
What? Did an alien find the show?
Yeah, that was our whole intro and outro last week. That Brian said was his favorite one that he's done so far, and he's already forgotten about it.
No, I was thinking of the episode that actually aired last week. The alien episode is actually going live tonight.
Mm.
Oh. So we really got to end this week behind shit. I mean, like, what the fuck are we doing here?
I can't.
Does that mean that we have an episode in the can?
Yeah, we always have one. So we're always a week ahead of ourselves.
So to make this work right now, can that one for some other time and just release this one tomorrow?
See, I'm gonna be starting a job that requires me to get up in the morning, so I won't be able to edit all night long anymore. That's why we need to have an episode in the can.
Oh, you found a new hotel to work at?
No. Honestly, I think most of our episodes are in the can. Alex, are you speed fapping? I keep hearing this.
I was hearing it
my
too.
Internet.
It sounded like choppers going into Nam. Like it was crazy.
Oh,
You sound like you're on a...
Started
you sound
hearing
like
the
you're
MASH theme song.
it might be the headphones. I just had to plug them and put it back in. But
You sound like an Iron Chef cutting carrots or something.
I'll cut your carrot, Brian.
Oh, what are we doing with
Wesley,
our
have you
lives?
ever asked Brian if his carrot was cut?
Yes.
No. Oh, wait, have I?
Yes, you put that question. You posed that question to everyone in the podcast chat.
Oh,
Can I be in the podcast chat?
No.
no, we already know you're circumcised. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I'm basically on the show every week now because one of you has to call out. So I mean, you might as well just put me in the chat.
You want to be an official host of the Lost Context podcast?
I mean, sure. If I don't have to edit it or anything, then it's just like recording. Then sure.
The problem is, we already have 4 hosts, and then when we have a guest on, that's 5 guests, and it's just too many people.
Well, no. I could be like an unofficial, like 5th. So like
Like a sub-in sort of thing.
So like when one of you doesn't want to be on, or when there's a guest, I could just like pop in and be like, "Hey, it's me."
We already do that, though. It's just hasn't been made official yet, I guess.
Well, that's fair. I'm not asking you to like put me on the Twitter banner. I'm just asking to come on the show when I want to.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
gateway question. And Twitter banner's coming
Here's
up.
my question. You were referencing that a carrot is a penis. So what is the genital equivalent of vegetables for a vagina?
Oh, definitely like one of those squashes that grows kind of weird and has the cavity in the middle.
A pomegranate?
I don't think a pomegranate works at all. It's
How would
like
it be a
round and hard.
pomegranate?
Wesley, there were no good answers to this question, and I feel like you're really...
This is why we need Tim. He can riff off of anything.
Oh,
Bring me
Tim's so
down,
much
Alex.
better than me. He's so much better than me. Then
Well,
why isn't he on this
I mean,
week?
he's
Because he
definitely
has
taller.
children. Because he has children and a family to take care of. Listen, buddy, I'm on the show because Tim's not on it this week. So, like maybe give me a little bit of respect and not shit on me for not being Tim.
I think that we
No.
should leave it up to the folks at
I'll
home to
consider
decide. And conveniently, Alex and Tim are on a show together called Balls in Your Face, where Alex literally will put his balls in your face. Audibly.
I'll put him in
Audibly.
Wesley. I'll put him in Wesley's face
Audibly.
right now if he doesn't keep throwing these hands. I mean, if he keeps going at me, I'll put my balls. In his
Wesley
face.
has balls in his face all fucking day. I don't think it'll phase him 1 second.
That's fair.
And they're much bigger than yours.
Well, I mean, by nature of them being cow testicles, yes, probably.
You are so
Bull
factual
testicles.
sometimes.
What do you mean I'm factual?
You're just like... I don't know. I'm going to look at some emojis real quick. Hold on. I just jumping into the vegetable section.
Maybe a pumpkin?
Brian, do you not remember what fruit looks like?
I mean, that should just be a sound clip for, future reference. That maybe a pumpkin?
Did my voice crack? I couldn't.
A little bit. But mine did really bad last episode, so. But really.
Oh,
I heard that. That was funny.
Which
What about
technically I
the-
think will be this episode, since Brian
No,
keeps up
no,
this
no.
screwed up fucking thing.
what about a donut?
Yeah, see,
That's not a vegetable. This is some Pizzagate bullshit, Alex.
The great American vegetable, the donut.
It's true. Anything can be a vegetable if you want it to be one.
Contains vitamin diabetes.
I feel like there are a lot more foods in general that are shaped like a dong, as opposed to a vagina. I feel like there's not
Yeah. It's like nature wants you to be gay.
How about a taco?
There's a hammer and a wrench emoji that looks like the hammer and sickle from the communist flag. I'll send it to the chat.
It would be a peach. It would definitely be a peach, right?
Yeah, peach is a pretty good one. And it's soft, too.
But peach is also used for ass.
Can you stop it with the ass for one episode? These kids today, I'm telling you.
Wesley, you're like 2 years older than me.
Yeah, well, 2 years matters, okay?
Why don't you go fillet a cow or something, man?
I don't fillet.
That's not how he gathers the semen.
I saw your voice go a little higher there. That means it might be
He
true.
stimulates the prostate. He doesn't get his mouth all on there.
I put a piece of metal up their ass.
And vibrates it.
Your metal?
I just need to stop before Brian gets more ammunition to clip out.
So how much longer are we going with this? Isn't it like time to start the D&D podcast?
I'm just looking at pictures of vegetables now, and
Oh, great podcasting technique there.
How has the show not won any awards yet?
Don't you think that the zucchini emoji makes a better penis than the eggplant? Because
Don't take the eggplant away from us. The eggplant emoji is perfect. Let's just leave it at that.
zucchini tastes better.
Brian,
That's
I
your
have an
argument
idea.
for why the dick shape should be a different one?
Brian, Wesley just
Scratch
said the phrase. Wesley just said the phrase. Do you think that the zucchini makes a better penis than the eggplant emoji? So can you please cut that out to be? Do you think penises look better? Please.
We'll sell that as a ringtone for a $10 pledge on Patreon.
how do these trends start? The idea that a eggplant turns into the penis, is that just because it really does, or is that because they've gathered up a few friends that had this inside joke and then it went viral? And in addition, like the 3 parentheses around a name to represent a Jew or whatever.
Well, no, that one is
I'm
because
pretty sure that was the...
that was just blatant anti-Semitism.
What?
A bunch of Redditors or something like came up with that, or like r/the Donald or whatever. I don't know.
No, I know that, but is that right? Did they just come up with it as a group and be like, all right, fellas, members of the underground Reddit group?
I don't know. They're probably a bunch of tinfoil retards.
No,
so I mean,
it started from the original Aramaic, like the original Torah, had the parentheses around it like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But they had to decide to start applying it to Jew people, to Jew names, as a code.
Well, it wasn't up
Jew
to them to
people.
do. They just did it, and it was the Romans that, got rid of it. 'Cause
well, the reason I'm
they
asking
can't
is
be having
'cause
that.
I think that we should abuse the system. Like, we should come up with our own code. We should pick an emoji that means something, and then have social media platforms be like, this is inappropriate. Anybody who uses the, and they'll start banning our shit for really stupid reasons.
Brian, I don't think I trust you to start your own emoji service after you failed ultimately at starting your own social media platform with MeWe, because no one uses that. So I don't know if I trust you.
That, and so far on Twitter, the only retweets we get are me. So I don't think you're changing the world through emojis is going to go very far, bud.
I'm gonna pick one right now that I want to corrupt.
A question for all of you. If your body type was was represented by an emoji, what emoji would you choose?
Ooh, it's a good question.
My body type.
Are we going?
Yeah, like your
Are we going specifically vegetables or?
No, anything. Anything goes.
I don't know what my
At Timmy Host.
I don't know what my body type is.
You're pretty lanky.
I guess. Got kind of
I would go with
arms.
the man that's fencing.
For me?
Wait,
Or for you?
No,
I
for
was,
me.
Oh,
Why?
Because I like it.
You can't just pick it because you like it.
I mean, nobody put that stipulation on before I said that. You're still not giving me a good reason not to take it. I'm still taking it. Sorry.
I need an emoji that is like leaner on the top half of the body, and then the legs are kind of bigger.
that's a pair.
I'm giving
That's absolutely a pair.
Well, no,
Or a triangle.
maybe a pair. Maybe a pair.
I'm just giving Alex the toilet emoji. In fact, instead of using 3 parentheses around your name, I'm going to put 3 parentheses around a toilet every time I reference you.
I'm gonna go with the Chinaman emoji.
Why? Because you have chinky eyes when you smile?
Well, I do have chinky eyes when I smile, but I don't know. Let me send this to you in the chat. Let me find it. I was in San Francisco, and we went to Chinatown, and I found a Chinaman hat, and it's amazing.
Oh, me and Alex had the same idea at the same time. He went with the Star of David. I went with the menorah. That's the perfect emoji for him.
Do we have any Mitt Romney emojis that we can use for Wesley?
Okay, here's the thing. I'm not Mitt Romney. I'm Mitt Romney if Mitt Romney ate Mitt Romney.
I think I was the one who made that joke originally.
No, I made the joke when we were riffing off fat jokes on me. Okay, I just sent a picture, and I want you to bask in its glory in the admin chat.
Well, I can't see it. Can you send it to the Discord chat?
Well, it's only on my phone. Can one of you post it into the Discord?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is riveting.
This is why I edit.
That's funny.
I love that day. I got several side eyes when I was wearing it and talking in a Chinaman voice.
Chris, why did you add me and then remove me from the podcast chat?
Because there's something specific that you can't see in there until a later time.
I can go back through all the chats now, though. So
even though I removed you?
Yes.
You better delete it quick, Riley.
I don't know how.
Which message was this?
You hold press on it and then delete.
Sexy lace.
Oh, found it.
Holy fuck.
Damn it.
I'm not happy that you recorded that audio. Alright, Chris.
But we all are.
Alright, well now that I know that, can you add me back to the admin chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not the admin chat, it's just the podcast chat.
Podcast, yeah.
Brian, can we do another Wesley's favorite things next week?
All right.
Are we still going?
I'm not saying anything good. I'm just going to go with this Joker card because I am such a jokester. And every one of my jokes lands every week on this podcast. And by lands, I do mean in the dumpster. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another terrible episode of the Lost Context Podcast. Thank you to our brand new co-host, Alex Insdorf, for joining us. We'll see how long that lasts. Stay tuned next week to see...
Whoa, wait, I'm official now? I'm officially a brand new co-host?
I don't know, I just announced it, so...
Yeah, we just kind of went through the whole thing.
We added you to the chat.
I thought there would be some background check or something I had to do, but, I mean, I'm down.
Stay tuned next week to find out another one of Wesley's favorite things.
Except it won't be next week, it'll be the next week after that, because now we don't record the week in advance now.
No, because
I don't know how this works.
This episode's going live next week, and then when I say next week, it will refer to the next week, which will have recorded the previous week. And this
I just want to...
The previous week.
I want to point
out... This week was next week, last week.
God damn it.
I want to point out the fact that Tim was gone, and I told him that I would make sexual jokes for him, and I think I stepped it up. That's all I'm saying.
Can I stop recording?
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do I just hit the red button again, Brian?
If you want to search online for the Lost Context podcast, here are the places you can find us: Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and YouTube. YouTube also occasionally has video content beyond just the podcast episodes, as does IGTV. You can follow us on social media as well. We have a Facebook page, Chris posts funny things to the Twitter, and we all post memes and updates on our Instagram account. If you want to support the show, you can pledge any amount of money at patreon.com/lostcontext. And don't forget to check out our D&D podcast, which features storytelling in a homebrewed world with cowboys, magic, vampires, orcs, voice acting, and original music. Search for LCP D&D on any of the aforementioned platforms. LCP D&D, which of course stands for Lost Context Podcast Dungeons & Dragons. Last of all, you should come hang out with us in our CLC Facebook group. Sometimes it's hidden, so if you would like to join, feel free to shoot us a message on any of our media platforms, and we'll get you in. We have a lot of fun photoshopping each other, making memes, having political discussions, and we even have movie nights, jukebox hangouts, and other events over Discord. Whew. Who knows? You two could end up on this podcast. So that's all for this episode. We'll see you on the next one.
Do black people usually have big teeth?